What's up, guys? I'm the Peak Agenda Pusher. Okay, so I asked you guys on Instagram, you could ask me any question. It could be about me, it could be about anime, it could be about comics, it could be about pop culture, whatever, and I will answer your questions. So this is me answering your questions. Okay, let's jump into it.
You know what? You are White Boy of the Year, Peak Agenda Pusher. You absolutely are, boss man.
I'm not going to answer all of them, so if I didn't answer your questions, sorry. There was like hundreds of questions. I'm just taking the first bunch that Instagram showed me. How do you feel about all the content creators who have nothing but terrible takes? I think it depends. Like, there are some that really annoy me because you can tell that it's like objective unintelligence, and I know that that's kind of fucked up to say, but that makes me annoyed. Versus like Meaty Mellow's my friend. That's my boy. He has bad takes all the time. Like, he says Asta from Black Clover solos anyone, which obviously isn't true, but he's doing it because he loves the show and he's being funny. Situational. Like, Brian casually watches anime. I really like him as a guy, and I think he objectively understands anime very well and like what it means to enjoy that art form and the deeper meanings of anime. But sometimes his takes when he says like that the admirals can solo all of the tailed beasts and like the whole Naruto, like that's a bad take. I don't know. It just depends. There's very few content creators who I'm actually like annoyed at how bad their takes are. What made you start content? I've always wanted to do content, so I make music under a different alias than Peak Agenda Pusher. If you can find it, congratulations. But I've made music my whole life. I always did parkour videos when I was a kid. They were not great, but they were fun, and like I just enjoyed making content. And I've always been passionate about like comics and anime and like fiction. People say, "Oh, you're a man. Be an adult. You shouldn't enjoy anime." And I feel like people like that have kind of little substance to their life. "Oh, you're a grown man and you watch anime. Could never be me." Or "You play video games. You're a grown man. Could never be me. Go do some push-ups." I just think to myself, like, you must not have much substance in your life. I'm like physically fit. I do jujitsu. I work out every day. I love lifting weights. I love the gym. I have a wife. We own a business, 2 stores that we manage. We travel the world constantly. Like, I have a busy, fulfilled life, and I've achieved a lot at a young age. And I still like to play video games and read comics and enjoy fiction because that's our way as humans to like experience and express. And if you're not experiencing art and expressing, like, what are you doing with your life? You're just like a cog in a machine. Oh, I gotta get money, gotta hustle. And I thought, why not combine the two? I like to create content. I like fiction. Why not share this with other people and show that, like, hey, not every single nerd is like this weird stereotypical, you know what I mean? I just wanted to do it for fun. That's kind of what got me into it. The whole Demon Slayer verse and JJK verse combined versus Kid Gohan, who wins? The whole Demon Slayer and JJK verse, they win. Kid Gohan cannot destroy an infinite amount of space. Last I checked, he has no way of bypassing space-time physics shenanigans, so he can't kill Gojo. There are Dragon Ball characters who can kill Gojo, but I do not think Kid Gohan is one of them, so they can't solo the whole verse. Infinity became passive. If you read the manga, it became passive. Like, he doesn't, it's active all the time. So it's not like running out of stamina will make him lose Infinity. So yeah, no one ever wins. How many shows have you watched? You talk about anime and comics, cartoons, and movies. I have no clue how many shows I've watched, dude. I grew up in the era where anime was coming out. Like, when I was a kid, Naruto Shippuden was still releasing. Dragon Ball was still releasing. Like, I was on Toonami watching those things. I remember when the iPod Nano came out, the first iPod with a screen. It was such a big deal. And I had the Forest of Death Naruto episodes on there, and I used to watch them like on the plane. I would watch them over and over again whenever I would fly somewhere or drive somewhere, which was not often. Like, a lot. I talk about stuff that I've watched. I haven't watched all this stuff now, like recently. A lot of it is old, and a lot of it's new. It's also a lot easier to read. I've never watched a single episode of Chainsaw Man, but I've read the entire series. That's why people laugh when I call Reze Reese, because I pronounce the character the way I read it, because I never watched it until somebody corrects me and they're like, it's pronounced Reze. But they clearly know that I know about the show because I've displayed ball knowledge of it that you would only have if you've watched the series. You couldn't just get from Google. So I read a lot, if I'm going to be honest with you. Why do you think Bleach is better written than Naruto? I don't think Bleach is better written than Naruto. I just enjoy Bleach more. Like, I don't know, Bleach is my favorite of the big three because it just spoke to me in a way where when I watched it as a kid, I was like, oh, this is sick. Like, just watching it, you're like, damn, this is sick. I could be like Ichigo for real. I think Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece are all like equally as good, equally great writing, but just for different reasons. Like, they're different. There's different aspects of them that are great. Like, One Piece, I think, is great writing because it's a beautiful story that makes you really happy. Naruto, I think, is great writing because it shows the tale of overcoming oppression or overcoming being marginalized or discriminated against or not accepted. Like it's the loser's upcome story. And Bleach is like the I can do anything that I put my mind to if I'm strong story. So they're great for different reasons. What do you think about Christianity? I love Christianity. I love Jesus. I don't really talk about it in my videos that much because I don't want to force my beliefs on others. If you're going to come to Christ, you should come to Christ on your own. And like, I love Jesus, but if you don't love Jesus, like I respect your individual right to believe what you want to believe. And ultimately, as long as you believe in being good and just and a right person, I respect that. But yeah, I personally love Jesus Christ. And yeah, I pray this makes it in. It's about to make it in. What is your opinion on the worst and best thing about the big three? The worst thing about the big three is it comes from the era of shonen slop. So it was just kind of like people were writing to pay their bills. And they kind of came up with the story on the spot week after week. They didn't have like a flushed out, coherent plan. The story just kind of came up with it as it went, and you can tell. That's the worst thing about it. The best thing about it is that it shaped a genre that I believe to be one of the greatest mediums of fiction ever. You work, you do your podcast, you go to the gym, you post 6 to 7 videos a day about ball knowledge and so many things. How do you manage? I'm really fortunate to own my own business. I used to work a desk job for many years, which I loved my desk job. The company I worked for treated me really well. It was fun working there. But eventually when I took the risk and my wife and I started our business and really like dove into it and we got our first store, I'm very fortunate to have amazing staff. Like my best friend is the manager of my store, one of my stores. I'm fortunate enough to have time to do things that I love. And I'm at my store a lot. I mean, one of my stores, the one that my wife and I run. I just go to the back, like into my office, and I pump out a video because I'm passionate about something and I have an idea. I'm going to make the video about it. I'm not going to let anything stop me. So I just walk to the back of my store, I make the video. I don't watch all these shows all the time. I usually watch 2 anime at a time, one with my wife and one by myself once she's asleep. And I read a lot of manga. Like when I'm taking a shit, I'm reading manga. That's how I'm consuming a lot of this stuff. It's just a GIF of me and it says Pap cooked. Sick GIF. Thanks for the GIF, twin. What's your favorite fictional character? Probably Uncle Iroh. I think Uncle Iroh is a great redemption story. He was a man who fell victim to the ideals of his nation, which is kind of a paradigm for like the life we live now. Who's the good guy? Whoever won the war. That's who the good guys are. So it's kind of interesting, and Uncle Iroh was able to separate himself from that, realize what he was doing was wrong, overcome this in a great like story of self-awareness and finding peace. And like I think he shaped me partially into the person I am today because I watched Avatar as a kid, and I think Uncle Iroh taught a lot of valuable lessons that I still hold on today. So I really like him as a character. I think he's an incredibly well-written character. Do you watch Wistoria, Wand and Sword? I do. I have not seen the newest season. I'm waiting to finish. My wife never watched Black Clover, so we're watching Black Clover together right now. But I haven't seen the most recent season, but I do like Wistoria, Wand and Sword. I think Witch Hat Atelier is better, but that's just my personal opinion. Do you think Goku can beat Sailor Moon? I do not think Goku can beat Sailor Moon. I think Sailor Moon out-haxes, but I think it's way closer than people think. Do you watch any sports? If you do, what teams do you support? I watch basketball, but only my team, which is the Charlotte Hornets. I watch every UFC fight. I watch all of UFC. Child of Bronx. But yeah, and I watch hockey sometimes. I support the Rangers. Bullseye versus Green Arrow. Green Arrow high diff. Damn, that's actually really hard. Bullseye. I'm actually going to say Bullseye. Because Bullseye is actually a powered person. Right? Right? And Green Arrow's not. Also, I think Bullseye has better feats than Green Arrow. Oh, Baryon Mode Naruto and Gear 5 Luffy versus Saiyan Saga Goku and Vegeta. Saiyan Saga Goku and Vegeta wash. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. Can you explain why Bleach characters are universal? Bleach is like a 3-layered multiverse. You have Waco Mundo, the world of the living, and the Soul Society. If you look at the cosmology in the sky, they have different stars. So if they're just different worlds, they're galaxies incredibly far apart, and they don't operate like individual galaxies at all, or they literally operate like separate planes of existence. They also don't operate like a traditional multiverse, but the Japanese language used directly translates to universe. When you have characters that their Bankai are stated to be able to destroy the Soul Society or destroy the world of the living or stuff like that, then you've explicitly made that character universal, because as far as we know, that is a universe. What do you think makes Bleach so great and why? Damn, okay. So what I think makes Bleach so great is just that it's a fun, simple battle shonen. JJK is not simple. You know what I mean? To an extent, Bleach is simple. You have ghost monsters, you have people that kill the ghost monsters that are kind of like angels, but it's a weird moral gray area, and they use swords, and then you have regular humans. And it's just like a simple, like easy to digest, like kids can love Bleach. That's what I think makes it so great, is that how easy it is to digest and how simple, and it's just really fun. Like, it's fun to watch. Somebody said Luffy versus Jinwoo, and they used a GIF. Let's show the GIF. Cool GIF. Jinwoo wins negative difficulty. Jinwoo commands an army of beings that are planetary in infinite size. And if you want to take Ragnarok Jinwoo, which people like to say isn't canon, but it is, because they're like, oh, well, the author said it's a spin-off. Yeah, the author sold the rights to the story. He doesn't own the story. It's like when George Lucas says anything that's not the original 3 Star Wars is a spin-off. George Lucas sold it to Disney, so he doesn't get to decide what's canon anymore. Disney decides. It's the same thing with this. Like, he wrote the story, he sold the rights. The publishing agency that owns the rights has said Solo Leveling Ragnarok is a direct canon sequel. So if you're going to take Jinwoo from Ragnarok, who's like a multiversal, high outerversal character, not high outerversal, but a multiversal, outerversal character that exists beyond dimensional concepts, time, is fighting beings that delete universes just by blinking. Like, yeah, Jinwoo's negging Luffy. But that's as of right now. I think Sun God Nika, the powers, I think we're going to see a crazy upscale like we did at the end of Naruto. Top 10 strongest in Naruto/Boruto. I don't know, top 10 strongest in Naruto and Boruto. I'd be like Code. I'm not going to put them in order. I'm just going to say Code, Boruto, Ishiki, Shibai, obviously, Momoshiki, Kawaki. Who else? Now it's in like a weird gray area. Like, I want to put Sadara in there. I don't know. I'll give you those 7. I'd have to sit and make a long form video on it to think of 10. What's my top 10 favorite superheroes from DC and Marvel? And whose powers would I want to have? My favorite superheroes of all time would be Batman, Nightwing, Flash, Iron Man, Wolverine, Deadpool, Absolute Superman. I love that version. Storm. Storm is fucking sick. Magneto. Thor. And whose powers would I want to have out of all of them? Well, if I had to pick somebody whose powers I'd want to have, it wouldn't be them. It would be Dr. Manhattan. Who's more powerful, Grand Zeno or Shinra Banchoman? Shinra Banchoman. Grand Zeno, Zeno, like, we've seen this before. Multiple Zenos exist at the same time, which means Zeno is bound by the concept of time, which means he's already not as powerful as everyone says he is. He's more like a complex multiversal character. He's not really like truly what Outerversal is. Like, he can't just change the story from Dragon Ball into something else based on our knowledge of how his powers work. Whereas Shinra changed Fire Force into Soul Eater, made new deities, made all of that. So Shinra's stronger. How do I become a content creator? I try, but my voice is so bad. Dude, nobody likes their own voice. I don't like my own voice. It just takes time. And just be natural. Like, just be yourself. Like, I'm just myself. I don't do a voice. I don't, like, play a character. Like, this is just who I am. What are my gym PRs? My highest bench ever is 225. I'm very below that right now because I've lost, due to health reasons, I've lost about 50 to 40 pounds. But when I was 185 pounds, my bench was, 225. I have no clue what my PR squat would be. I don't really do squats. My sled press would be like, I don't know, 400. Leg extension PR is like 200. I don't know. I curl 40. I don't really curl that much anymore. I kind of do preacher curls now, like 90. Nothing crazy. And okay, cool. Those are all the questions that I have saved. This was a long video. This was fun. I'll do it again soon. Okay. Love you guys. Talk soon. Bye.